Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be playing Timberborn. And the reason why I'm circling back to this game is the development team has put another major update out called Badwater. And it has made the game it's more enjoyable and it's more difficult. They're raising the bar each time they add these updates to the game, and the game is really still in early access. It's been out about a year. I always circle back to it when the updates come out because I enjoy the updates. I've enjoyed every update they've made to this game, and each one raising the bar or the difficulty level to the game, adding more complexity to the game, which is great. So the bad water part of the game now is there's a portion of the water that is toxic. And not only are you dealing with droughts in this game, but you're dealing with the toxic river flows. And they are obviously adding new buildings, resources, and decorations to the game, enhance the terraforming aspects of the game, rework the maps. And the thing with the reworked maps now is if you go to new game and choose the faction, I'm going to play the harder faction, the Iron Teeth faction, just because I like that faction. Now, when you go to look at the maps, they actually show you what you'll be dealing with. And obviously, you can create your own custom maps. I have created, there's no previews for these because all these custom maps that I've made in the past will not work with the new update. So they all just need to be deleted and I need to create them. But the game itself has all these maps that are stocked. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to probably just go to the one called Lakes. We're going to say, and choose this one. It's beginner friendly. Go to next. We'll leave it on the normal portion of the game because normal is really difficult now with the new toxic water element. The whole game is kind of changed, in the better, but it's changed in a way that it's more complex. That you got to really think your way through surviving. I'm just going to call this the home, this town. I'm going to say okay. So this is a built scenario that, play scenario that the developers have created, out of the box. So here we've got limited trees. We've got limited space really here to move or grow. So we're going to have to really micromanage the beginning here, because if you make a blunder here, it's going to be costly. So the first thing you want to do is get a water source going. So just the deep water pump is part of this faction's wheelhouse. Now we're not going to be able to build that without the lumber. And what's nice about this map is there's a stairway right here that goes up to these trees to give you access to these trees. So now what we've got to do is put a lumber flag down, and it's got to be touching the road. See the green line? Everything needs to be connected to the village house there. The district is what they call it. And now what we've got to tell the system by cut trees, we got to actually tell the beavers which trees you want cut. So we're going to tell them to cut all those trees. All right, so the next thing we want to do is food. Well, this map starts off with the berries. So we're going to put the gathering flag in. We'll just put it right here. So we should be able just to turn this to highest speed, which I can do up here at the right-hand top here, the triple arrows. Click on that. That just causes the beavers to go faster. So the first thing we're going to want to do is get these beavers in the housing. And with this faction, the beavers get bred in a breeding pod. So we'll have to get that process going. So let's do the housing. We'll do one house for now. Again, everything needs to be touching the district. See how the green line is on the road? So if I rotate this by hitting the R button, you can rotate the buildings, the R button. So just make sure that your doorway is facing a road. Now, if I wanted to have it this way, I just have to make sure if I wanted to put it this way with it not touching the road, that means I'm going to have to put a road in like this, so that, and you can rotate the map with the E in Q. allows you to rotate. So now what we're going to do is the beavers need to build that house. Now within the district building, I've only got 2 builders allocated to building structures. I've got 4. If you look up at the upper left, it tells you I've got 9 beavers, 3 are adolescents, but I've got 4 that are not working. Beavers that are not doing anything. So what I'm going to do is add 2 beavers to the building. That leaves me with 2 still available. I want to cut down these trees here because we're going to need these trees. So I'm going to put in another lumber flag, a lumberjack flag. And then I'm going to have to go to cut trees here and select the trees I want cut. So now we've got double wood coming in. I think the first thing we're going to need to do is get over on this side of the river so we have access to these resources. And we can do that easy enough by going to landscaping and then going over to dam and just putting some dams in. Now the thing with the dams, and I'll show you here, that they've got a slit at the top of them. So the water will only get so high and then it will just slide through between the road. So the water will get trapped on this side when there's droughts. But when there's not droughts and it gets to a certain level, the water just will flow over the dam. Now you can unlock the levee, which is different. That actually blocks the whole section with no pass through. All right. So we're going to have to get into this side. What I've done here is I've just put these, the dams in. You know, the dams are in. I just got to get them to build them. Now they got that house built. I think that's still not enough space. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. Just meant to glide over this icon over here. So I've got 2 beavers that are still homeless. All right, so we need at least one more. We need at least one more house under housing. We'll put that there. Now the other thing, like I was saying, is we need a breeding pod to keep our population up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck a breeding pod down here by the water source and near the berries, because to breed the beavers, you need the berries and you need water. And I'm just going to put 1 in for now, because what's going to happen is my beavers will age out and die of old age. And if you don't breed or you don't put breeding pods in, your population will get to 0 and you're pretty much done at that point. All right, so let's do at least 1 farmhouse, because the berries are not going to be enough to stay alive. So we got to go and find the farm under food. We want a farmhouse. We'll just put a farmhouse right here next to the main buildings here, because this would be the center area of where, you know, they're sleeping here. And then I'll put some water storage in a little bit. But first these beavers need to start building what we need in the build. And I think the lack of the trees is, the lack of the logs is what's slowing the building process down right now, because we're really limited to, we've got 2 of them, 2 of the lumber. So let me put a 3rd one in. So we'll put the lumberjack flag here, and we'll have to choose again what trees I want cut down. All right. Now you can unchoose too by clicking on unmark, and you can unmark an area. So if you've got trees that you do not want cut down, you can unmark them. So now we've got this patch of trees, we got this patch of trees, and we got this patch of trees. So we've got 3 lumberjack flags. That means 3 beavers are working cutting trees down. Now, one of the things with cutting the trees down is they're going to need to sharpen their teeth. And we have to go to the well-being icon and choose the teeth grindstone. And we'll need to put that in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put that in up here, because it's typically the beavers that are cutting trees that use it. Now, we could prioritize builds, what we want built first. So what we can do is click on this breeding pod and then click on the 3 arrows up and tell the workers that I want that building as a priority. So get that one done. And then I could go to the farmhouse and I could do the same thing, but I could put it 1 level lower. So what's going to happen is the pod will get built, then the farmhouse will get built before anything else will get built. So you can prioritize that. Now you can prioritize the workforce too. Like this water, deep water pump, I'm going to put that on the highest priority because we're always going to need water. And I don't want the beaver to leave this occupation to go do something else. I need it to stay here. Same thing with the berry farm here. We've got to tell that worker to always stay put. That's a maximum. Okay, so the breeding pod got made. And like I was saying, is you need 2 water and 2 berries for it to operate. So what's going to happen is they'll get bred here, and then they'll become adolescents, and they'll show up in the children numbers. And then you got to wait for them to become adults before you can actually put them in your workforce. Now the bad water part of this game. Let me see if we can find it here. I don't think this map has it. It's part of the drought mechanic. Is you'll get the droughts. Oh, here it is. This here is bad water. This is toxic water. And it's flowing in this river channel here. And it's toxic to us. But what it is it's also here that it can access this water channel and it can pollute this water up here. And that's what's going to happen during what they call a bad water tide. And all my water will become toxic. So what you got to do now with this game is you got to really store the water. You got to make sure that you can not only get through droughts, but you need to get through the bad water effects. And the other thing about the bad water effects, it kills anything that's adjacent to the river. So you basically need to get, you'll have to do some replanting. We'll see that mechanic. We're going to play up to that mechanic so you can see it. So my farmhouse is built. They're asking what I want them to grow. I'll go to plant crops. For now, I'm just going to have them this tier 1 vegetable here. I'm going to do half the field with those because those can be eaten right out of the field. Now, this next, the tier 2 component, the cassava, they require a cook hut to eat. So we've got a product here that when it's grown can be eaten right out of the field. And then half the field is a product where it needs to be fermented and cooked. And what you need to do is you need to go to what's it under? It's under well-being. It's not under science. I think it must be under food. Yeah, it's under food. Okay. So this fermentator or this thing here, it needs power, but once these things get grown, they need to go through this process. So we're going to need to select one to put on the. We're going to need at least one. And what's nice about it is the reason why you want to do this is because the tier 1 vegetables get eaten quick and don't give you enough nutrition. So what you'll do is you want to eventually just make the second tier stuff, even though you need to be able to run it through a secondary process to eat it. All right, we're going to go to the power. They changed the power wheel on this faction to a large power wheel. I like it better than the old ones that look like hamster wheels. And we're just going to put it right here. So what this building does is it will generate 300 power. The food cooker, I'm just going to say it that transforms that food into edible food only requires 50 power. So we're going to have a surplus of power once that starts going. All right. So the next thing we want to do is make sure that we have water storage. All right. So we go to storage. Right now, the only thing we can make is a small tank. We're going to bring that up here to right there. And we need to click on it, and you need to tell it what liquids you want to put into it. So in this case, it's going to be water. And then I'm going to put another one right there, and I'm going to say water. Now, these water tanks only hold 30 units. Now, you'll be able to make larger ones that hold, like this one, this large one here, can hold 1,200. But we just can't make those right now because our tech tree is not high enough. So that's that is what we're going to need to do next, is start learning some tech. But now that we got to cross the river, we have access to these trees, plus we have access to the berries, the extra berries here, over on this side and over on this side. So what we could do is put a berry picker or gathering flag somewhat in the center here that covers that side, the right side. All right, that's where it needs to be, and we'll cover these left sides. Plus we should put a lumberjack in. Oh, the drought's going to be approaching pretty soon. Put another lumberjack in and cut these trees down. And get those trees cut down. So let's just make sure that we're not, okay, so we still have trees up here. This lumberjack is overlapping this side, but it already took care of mostly what's up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this and get rid of it altogether, so that we've only got this one here doing these trees here. And then we've got this side here. These trees are already been taken out. So we're gonna delete this lumberjack. So that actually adds to our, allows us to reallocate those for the workforce. So they're complaining right now because they don't have food. All right, that kind of makes sense because we've used up all the berries. But I just opened up this gatherer here. This gatherer has got that. So this gatherer right now is going to be our main food supply because of these berry bushes that still have fruit on them. And then when these, okay, now these plants are coming to harvest. So now we're going to have food coming in here. And the food's coming in. Now the water, we're going to need probably a water pump, because the water is, they're drinking the water as fast as the water's coming in, and that's not good because we're at 4 water, 2 water, so we need another water pump, and we'll need to prioritize the production and the labor for that, so that we're going to need to bank some water before the drought starts in 1.3 days, because that's where it's telling me up here at the right hand top. In 1.2 days I'm going to need a boatload of water, or my guys are going to have problems. So what I'm going to do is put another water pump in, because we're going to definitely need to pump some water here. And we're going to prioritize that also with labor and with building. And I think what we got to do here is just put another lumberjack in and prioritize that also. Because the wood, bringing the wood in is going to be important, because we need to get these up and running, and we're going to have only 0.7 days to do it. Now, the river itself is not going to dry up immediately because of this dam I put in. It's just that this pump won't be as effective because the water on this side will be gone. So now we're starting to bank some water. So we've got 12, 14. All right. All right. And this here is saying it doesn't have power because this building isn't built yet. The power building isn't built yet. So I should be I need to prioritize these storage facilities because I got to start storing some water. Okay, so the drought has started. That means the water stops pumping from wherever it's coming from. But because we've dammed up this end, the water should slowly get, see, this is where the bad water's coming in. Now that the drought started, the bad water starts taking up its space. All right, so I've got the pumps running. Now I've got 30 water. So I've got a lot of water coming in right now during the drought. Get those, we'll get these storage facilities going, for the water, get those up and running, and then we'll be able to store a bunch of it. So our food source is coming in slowly here. I should put another farm down because they're not, the two beavers, that are working that farm, it's just not enough to keep up with the fields. So we need to put another farm in. So I'm going to put the farm down here, the new farm. And as you can see, with the drought, the water has receded and the fields are drying out. With this faction, there's no tower or water system. The other faction, the beginner faction that we could have chose, has a mechanism within their wheelhouse that allows you to put these water towers in, basically sprinkler systems, so that your fields never are dry as long as you get water. But you see how I've stopped the water from drying out, just falling off the map, because I so basically through this drought, I've got this buffer. See this little lake here that I've held water in, where everything else has dried up. See, everything else is dry. So that's managing the water here without having to put storage containers in, even though I've got storage containers in so that I can store it. So right now it looks like food is my biggest problem, and it looks like because these are all dried up, those are all dried up, so it's really going to be getting the food out of the fields right now, because this gatherer here doesn't have any more berries to gather, and these are all dried out because of the drought. So what we're going to need to do is plant on this side, because what we've done is we've kept this area green because we've stopped this water here. That's why this has not dried out, because of the stoppage. So this means this won't dry out. So we just got to, move to areas or grow our food in areas that are not going to dry out. Okay, I got plenty of water. So it's the food that's the problem right now. So I just need to get them to build. So I got 4 logs. These guys are still cutting trees. Let's just make sure that I highlighted the ones that, okay, yep, there's plenty of trees there. This one here, there's plenty of, okay, the drought has ended, which is good. And I did mark all those for cutting because I've got one tree lumberjack guy up here working on these trees. So really my slowness right now is the trees, bringing in the, cutting the trees down. I don't think everyone's grown up. I haven't got anyone die of starvation. All right, so I've got a second farm now going that I've got 2 more beavers working the field. So I've got this farm and I got 4 beavers working these fields. And I think I'm going to have to put another farm in, just so that these fields will get, and they need to be a priority. So these fields will get worked fast, timely. This power thing is I'm still working on that. That takes 100 logs. And we got to do our science. We got to get our science going, because then we'll be dead in the water if we can't make our own trees. And the only way to make your own trees in this game is to unlock the technology, the science technology. So I'm going to expand this road down here, and I'm going to add 2 lumberjack flags here. I'm going to put this one here, and I'm going to delete this one. All right. So these trees are almost all taken. Now, we're now bringing in enough food to, for the population. We've got 11 adult beavers. We've had some die of old age. We've only got 1 in the incubator or the hopper. So we're probably going to need, if we want our population to grow timely, we're going to need to add a few more breeding pods. We'll add 2 more, so we have 3 total. Now that we got a handle on the food and the water. It all's coming down to management of the trees, is getting the trees cut. They should have built this, I guess I'll have to prioritize that. You do you just got to prioritize the stuff that you need. And then there's some things you don't need to prioritize. I mean, really, I'm going to put this farmhouse as a normal priority. I'm going to put this farmhouse as a normal priority. So if something else, because right now this farmhouse is empty, you know, because I just don't have the population. I've only got 11 adults. So what do I got? Oh, I've got no builders. All right, we're going to need to prioritize that. That's why I'm going to prioritize the building hut and only prioritize 2 builders, freeing up 2 more to be in the workforce, because I didn't have anything there for, you know, because I was like wondering why things weren't getting built. So now I'll start bringing in the wood. There we go. And on this side, we're pretty much done. I'll delete one of these flags. I'll leave one here because some of these trees are about to become adult trees. So I'll leave this one going. All right. So I even got some trees over here that have regrown. Okay, I don't have food problems and I don't have water problems. I've got enough wood coming in now. That's easy mode. So now we have to wait on tech points. That's what we're gonna need to wait on, is the tech building getting built. But I think what's happening is this power building is now getting built. It says it's got 100 logs out of 100 logs, so I don't know what's going on with that. Because once this power source gets built, then this will start churning out I've got 54 of those food items that need to be converted to edible food. And this building just needed power, plus we needed to tell it what we wanted to process, which we're going to process that food. So we're going to prioritize this building. Yeah, it's not gonna. We don't have enough in the workforce, so we're gonna unprioritize the builders. Okay, and we're gonna reduce the builders to 1. We need to get somebody in here, but we just need one beaver in the power plant right now. We need 1 beaver in the food. So there we go. So that should be yeah. So that 1 beaver here is producing the 50 power we need with the power wheel to power this food processor. So now we should not have any problems keeping our food up. So right now it's about our population growth. We've got 2. We had another beaver die of old age. We've got 2 in the breeder. We got a 3rd breeder on deck. As long as we don't have any of the construction guys right now. So I'm going to get rid of one of these lumberjack flags, and I'm going to make sure that we've got 1 guy in the construction hut so that we can at least get this other breeding pod finished. All right, so we need to prioritize the tech tree here. So we got to get a guy to start producing tech points, because what we need to unlock next is the forester building that allows us to make our own trees. Because right now we're getting down to the point where we're not going to have any trees. We're not going to have any wood available unless we start planting our own trees. And for us to unlock that, we need 60 tech points, and we've only got 3 right now. Now we're also going to need a lumber mill, because part of the product that you need to make the forester hut there is the lumber planks. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie this building into the current power plant that's already here, because you can connect on this power thing on 3 ends, this end, and this end. I put the water things here because I knew wasn't going to put power on this side. So what's going to happen here is I'll be able to, I don't want to put that there. You can destroy anything you want in this game by going to the demolish thing. I didn't want to put that road in. All right. I want to put another water thing there. So right now, this power building supports the power for the food processor and when the lumber mill gets made. And then it will start mill some lumber planks for us. And then those planks will allow us to build other things. So right now we've got 40 logs collected. So we shouldn't have a problem moving the, processing some of those into planks. Then we'll have the building we need to make our own trees. All right, so we've got plenty of water, got plenty of food now. We've got the basics done. So what we can do here is I'm going to delete this and I'm going to delete this. So I got rid of both the gatherer and I got rid of the lumber on this side of the river. That frees them up to do other things. All right, I must have some homeless now, right? No, I got 8 free beds. Yeah, I'm still at population 11 because my population is dying off as quickly as I'm replenishing it with it being born. So that's what's going to happen with this game is your population death rate will become normalized to a point where you've got as many dying as you're getting born. So that means you always have to make more breeding pods if you want your population to grow. And I have done that. I've put 3 in. I don't know if I want to go to 4 because it's going to go, these things are going to breed quick. And then they start taking your resources like your water and your food starts to get used up quick. And sometimes you'll get a die-off because you've overplayed your hand when it came to the breeding pods. But I will put another one down because right now in the breeding pods, it's telling me I've only got I've got one child. So the breeding pods have a timer. This one's almost done. This one's almost done. And this one's halfway done. So once those get bred, there's 3 that will go into the child bucket. And then you got to wait for them to grow up. So that's part of the delay of the game, right? I mean, is breeding, where the other faction is they just breed based on your available beds. So if you make 90 houses, that means the population will just breed until they reach the population cap until you make more housing. This faction is a little different because it's the harder of the 2 factions, and I like dealing with it only because it's harder. I mean, it's harder to work this faction. All right, so our science points got to where they needed to be. So we'll unlock the forester hut, and we're going to put one right here. All right. So now we got to get that built. I've got one builder available. Every other building is filled. I still have 3 unavailable spots, meaning I need 3 to enter the workforce. Yeah, because, even the farmhouses are getting empty. But my food's not really a problem because we banked a lot of those items that needed to be processed, and we now process them. So we've got a food buffer, even though the farmhouses are empty, because our adult population just dropped another one because it's now down to 10. But our child is up to 3. So that's the slowness of the process here is breeding your population. And we probably should have been on it quicker than now. We probably should have started the breeding pods right off the bat. And you can see our berry fields are replenishing because our population is not eating as many because our population is actually falling. Now it went back up to 11, which is good. So we haven't had a bad water incident yet. That's going to happen. Okay, we got another drought approaching. So for that to be, let's put another storage out, water storage. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this one closer to the water, and we got to choose water. So it's closer to the water pump. So this will get filled first. Plus, when the pods need water, they'll just take it out of this storage. So in 2 days, in 2 days, 2.5 days is when the drought's going to start. So we should be fine with that. Now, we don't need this person in the tech hut, so we're going to pause it. We're going to pause that tech hut. So that removes that. You can pause any building that you want, or you can manage how many workers are actually in the building by the plus and minus arrow at the worker. Like here, the power, I've only got one queued. Farmhouse, those have 2 to run. So yeah, so right now we're at the mercy of our population and what our population is, which is only 11 working beavers, adult beavers. And we've got to wait, I don't know what the time is on children, how many days that takes for the children to become an adult. But the breeding pods, if we look at them now, that's halfway, that's halfway, that's a quarter of the way, that's halfway, that's not even really just begun. So it's basically, with this faction is you're just waiting on 2 processes, one being the breeding of them, and then you've got to wait for them to become adults on top of that. And while they're children, they're consuming your food and water, but yet not contributing to the process. So we should put another house in now that we've got a lull in our building. This can't be built anymore because it needs the planks. It needs 7 planks. So what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize the plank building so that we can get some planks built. Okay, these trees have come back, so I will put my lumberjack back here. I'll prioritize that because I need those. I need those logs to make the planks. Because right now we're down to no logs, and we've used up all the logs on this peninsula that we were. Now, I could make another one to cut those logs. I could make a way to get across here and get these, but we're going to be making our own shortly. So we should probably actually do that. So we got to go to trees. And what I want to do is I want to plant the oak trees because those are the best bang for your buck. They do take 30 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this oak trees. Then I'm going to do pine trees. Pine trees only take 12 days. And then I'm going to do birch, which only take 9 days. And then we want to make sure that they're within the cutting so they get cut when they are made. All right. So see how the drought just dried up my entire farm? So what we're going to probably want to do is make a dam system that come across here that holds the water longer over here. Yeah, I think that's what we might we might have to do it in a few locations. I think that would start the process of holding. So if we go and extend this road here, come this way, and then put a dam system here. And block that, the water should be held on this side longer instead of spilling down. We'll have to see where else the water goes after we build this. Where else it might be escaping. But this will also, well, I won't be able to get up there unless I do the stairs. Yeah, we'll do that for now and see how well we manage the water on that side. Because right now, we're not going to get any trees planted while there's no water available on that higher tier. Now, we could go down here and put a forester here. And basically, because we're going to need the trees. And we'll do birches. We'll do pine. And then we'll do oak, because here is this area is staying green on this side, and just make sure that we cover that to be cut. Yep. So now we're going to be doing some tree on this side. I don't really need this as a, okay, we don't have somebody over there. Our population's gone up, which is good. Oh, we've got a bunch of these berries here that we can pick. We're not. Oh, we are kind of hurting for the food. How is that even possible? Why are we hurting for food if we've got power there? Is it because? Okay, I think it's because we don't have enough people in the farms. Got to prioritize these farms. So what did I prioritize? Did I prioritize this? I'm going to delete this for now. Okay, this is not prioritized. That's on pause. Okay, we've got 13. Okay, I'm gonna delete this water. I'm deleting that water pump. All right, what do we got on this side? Okay, we've got the lumberjack on this side as a priority, but yet there's nothing to cut, so we're going to delete that. That frees up. That frees up for the farms, so we get those farms working. It looks like some of them kind of migrated from the farm to now this one will plant. I prioritized it, but we're going to have to figure out how many planks do we've got? We've got plenty of planks. So we're going to pause the plank building. That will free up 2 beavers, which one will go over here and fill this void here, and the forester will start foresting. Okay, so now it's planting the trees. So now we've got the trees being planted. Because that's going to be our bottleneck right now, is the trees. And I should get this one on this side up and running. All right, so we've got plenty of food. We don't have any timber or logs, so I'm going to have to put a lumberjack here, just in between these farms, just so that it can cut down these trees that have grown. We've got no trees on that side that have grown. We've got these few here. Yeah, this building is being built. Oh, it requires 40 logs. I'm actually going to destroy that and get those logs back, the logs that were used, so that we can use those logs. Because right now it's just a balancing game to get the logs going, getting the logs back into their, because we're basically at the mercy of the timer on those logs. So we got to get that going. All right, we freed up 10. I wonder where they went to. Maybe they went into this here. No, nothing's gone into that yet. Why hasn't this been built? Do we not have a... Oh, we don't have a builder. Oh, we've got 5 kids in the hopper, but not in the workforce. We lost another person out of the... another beaver out of the workforce. So that's why nothing's getting built, is because why don't I take one out of there, so that we'll get the carpentry guy back, or the builder back, as I reduced one. I probably can reduce one out of here too, and I'll leave this at 2. So that frees up. That leaves me with one extra. Oh, and now that was taken. Now they're in the lumberjack. So right now I've got the lumberjack guy cutting these trees here. See how much lumber we get. Yep. And then once all this lumber is taken, I will delete. What's nice is when you delete these things, you get back what you put into them. You know, basically when you delete these camps, which I can do now, get my one wood back when I built it. So I don't have any wood right now. See, I'm at the mercy of these having to get grown. They're only at 3%, and I'm at the mercy of the beaver actually planting them timely. That's the thing, is the one beaver, it's taking a while to plant that. So I could. All right, this has everything but the logs that it needs. Got trees here that can be cut. So we'll just put that back in. We'll prioritize it again. So we get some more logs in our storage, so that this tree facility can get built. So it needs 3 more logs. I mean, there's a lot to this game. As you unlock the tech, you get the gears. There's all sorts of things that you can build, from power, power connectors, and then you've got your science, everything when it comes to the science and the robots you can make, to grease factory, to all the well-being stuff. Like, I haven't put any time in the well-being stuff because I knew I was going to be limited with logs. So until we get the logs running, getting a good flow of logs coming in, we can't really do the campfire and whatnot. But there's a lot of stuff here for the well-being. Then you got decorations, you got monuments. Then you've got just the general trees that you can choose to make. And then you've got, options when it comes, multiple options for food sources. I mean, there's a lot to this game. There really is. I mean, you got to micromanage it. With these scenarios that they give you, you got to really micromanage them. But once you get it going, once you get it started, and you get your core resources in, food, water, and trees. Once you start getting those coming in, then the game really takes off. Now I could change the workday hours to 24 hours if I want. I could really upset them up here at the top. Right now I've got it at 16-hour days. Eventually I'll have it at 0-hour days, because I'll have robots running everything. Because with this faction, or even with the other faction, you can actually make robot factories, and then you just put the robots to work, and then your living population is just chilling out and living. They're just happy doing anything they want on the happy side, because they don't have to work at all, because the robots are doing it. And that's where you get with the game, is you eventually get to a point where you get 300-400 robots running, like the whole thing is, that's the niceness of the game, is you slowly take the living beavers and you allow them just to live fun. You just make all the happy well-being stuff for them to do all day. So they're happy, and then the robots are kind of just running the place. So these fields are getting full now. We've got 11% on that, 64% on that. So it won't be long before we start bringing in lots of wood. But I don't think I've got a lumberjack. I don't have a lumberjack house at all right now on the map. I'm going to have these farms back to full capacity. All right. I don't have wood coming in, so I don't want to mess around with that. Don't need to mess around with the power. I guess I'll add one to the construction hut so things will get built timely. So at this point, I'm going to put my lumber flags in right here. I'm going to put 2 of them in so that they'll take care of these trees when they're ready to be cut. I'm also going to go to the storage, and I'm going to make a large industrial pile, and that allows me to store the logs. So those logs will get stored, and I can tell it when I go to the storage, I tell it what I want it to store. So in this case, I want it to store logs. So I'll make another one on this side, and I'll have this one store the planks. So I've got the wood and the planks being stored up there, and the planks are being made right there. So it's just for them to bring it to the storage. I might as well turn back on the tech. That's not because I have extra beavers now. I have 1 extra surplus beaver not doing anything. So turning back on the tech, turning back on the plank thing is fine too. Putting the power thing to max. I'm actually going to normalize that. I was making that a priority. All right, so I got no builders right now. I don't need builders right now because I don't have logs right now. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool little game. And what's great is you can make your own custom maps. So if you just don't want to be pigeon like I have in the beginning here, because they only give you so much resources, so you got to manage it to a point where you got to get by. It's challenging. It's like you got to manage it until you can self-sufficient run the food, the water, and the trees, the cutting of the trees. These cutters up here should overlap this tree here. So these cutters, if I've got, I don't have any lumberjacks in there yet. I still got to wait for my population to go up. So my population's at 20 now, and still not all the jobs are filled. I've got 3 vacancies, 3 jobs that aren't filled. And it's because I told the system to put maximum in some of these key. Okay, so we've got trees now grown. So we're going to have to prioritize these lumberjacks. So telling the system, all right, I need you just to cut trees for me now. So and then what happens is that beaver goes in and replants the seeds, replants the trees. So as the trees get cut, the beaver goes in and plants them. So once this beaver has everything planted, I'm going to expand what I'm going to ask it to plant. So now I'm going to do more oak. And we just got to see this building here, this building that allows the beaver to plant goes all the way down to here. So we can basically go all the way down to here to plant. All right, I got one more square. Because that's how far that building reaches. Okay, so that's how far that building reaches. So this building reaches all that way, all the way up to here. So we'll expand the road to there. I'm going to move the road there. So we can actually now add more oak. Because the oak is the way to go. I mean, the oak gives you so much return. It just takes forever for it to grow. The other thing we got to keep in mind is this is going to dry out again. This whole area is going to dry out during a drought. So this area down here won't. This area is here, won't get dried out, and the trees will get replanted. So once okay, so we got another drought. We got another drought approaching. We're going to have to bank up some more water. So we'll put on this side of the river, hitting the R, we'll rotate the building. Whoop, I did not mean to cancel that. All right, put the building there. This will allow us to get some extra water. We're still waiting for these trees to grow. These are at 91%. The oaks are going to only be at 30%. Yeah, I mean those take a long time to grow. So down here on this farm, there's nothing ready to harvest. I don't have a lumberjack down here at this point. I mean, I do have a couple trees, wild trees that can be cut down. I'm fine with food. I'm fine with water. I just need to get some more trees cut. I mean, at one point we were limited to our population, and now we're limited to getting the trees planted and harvesting them, because we can't build anything. And now the pines are coming up, so now the pines are now being cut, and you get more bang for your buck with the pines. The oaks are the best. I mean, once those become available, we're going to have wood coming out of our ears. So we used up most of that wood as they're trying to build this dam system that I put in, but they're not going to get it done before the drought. All right, so we've got trees now on this side that can be harvested. So I'm only going to put one lumberjack in, and I'm going to put it over here so it overlaps the wild, the ones that are over here that are wild, and I'm going to prioritize it. I'm going to say build it as a priority and prioritize its labor. So now we'll have a lumber beaver. It's going to cut the wild trees, and then it's going to move on to this section, which I have allocated for cutting, because all that green. So now we've got wood coming in. Now we got a surplus of 11. So the dam system on this side is getting built. Yeah, this game does have music. I turned it off just so you could hear me ramble, I guess. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm having to scream over the game sound, but this game does have sound. You just have to decide if you want it on or not. So now the trees are really popping. They're growing. We've got a surplus of stuff now. So right now, more or less, it's going into building this dam system. Probably should increase how many builders I can have to 4. That means I can reduce, what can we reduce here? We probably can reduce, I don't know, our population is growing steadily, so we should be fine. I didn't think I was going to make the window of getting this dam system up, because right now the water's flowing or not flowing in because it's during a drought. But where is it flowing out? It looks like it's flowing out up here. Yeah, so we would also, if we want to stop, yeah, okay, so if we want to stop the water from flowing back, we're going to need to put another dam system right across here. So that's what we're going to do next. Let's go to landscape, let's go to this. If we dam this side up, then we would be able to hold the water, and we've got all these trees we can cut down now too. We can hold the water, we should be able to hold the water, a good portion of the water, in this lake without it flowing out off the map. All this is dried up now, so what's going to happen is these won't grow during a drought. So none of these trees are growing during the drought. They stop growing altogether. That's why we built this down here, so that we could get through the drought and still bring in the logs that we need. And we've trapped this water here, so we've got that surplus of water during the drought. We haven't had a Badwater event yet. I'm thinking maybe we'll see that soon. I mean, we're getting into almost an hour of this game that we've played, and we haven't gotten in a bad water event because it's called a Badwater tide, and you know, I was seeing it happen on the harder maps. I was playing one of the core harder maps, and it was happening quite often. I just thought I would see it way before now. We're pretty much, you know, I think it's doing well. I think I want to button this video up though. I mean, we're at an hour. I think you got the gist of it. There is the new mechanic, the Badwater mechanic that you will expect to deal with eventually. And then all the other extras that they've added to the game in the last update. All right, well, thank you for joining me. And this has been the Tarkus Zone.